Welcome to Two Sides, Same Couch. We are a podcast where two best friends dig into conversations most people avoid. From identity to intimacy, insecurities to growth, we sit on opposite sides, but show up at the same intention: honesty, curiosity, and connection. This is a space for people who are in the thick of figuring life out. Through raw stories and real talk, we explore the messy middle and make room for growth, healing, and perspective. Welcome back. I'm Myron Mullen.
And I'm Maggie Murphy.
What up, Maggie?
What up, Myron? All right, y'all. Welcome to our podcast. Today, our episode is called There. I wish you could see the spelling of there.
We'll fix it.
It'll be in there. It'll be in the YouTube description. Okay, so today our episode is called There. What if the destination doesn't even matter? Mm-hmm. And as all of our episodes are inspired by real life conversations that we have or want to have. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we've had them before. Sometimes we want to have them. But this was inspired specifically by a conversation we had. And also one of our friends, shout out to Shayun, he put out an album recently, I would say within the last few months. And it is titled There, with the parentheses around the T. And we were both at his album listening/release party. And he shared about the inspiration behind his album. And it really stuck out to me and inspired this pod. So I'll read you his little album blurb. It says, "There is rooted in the human experience, defined by the tension between present struggles and desiring to be in a presumed ideal future. As a believer in Jesus, this resonates on multiple levels, ranging from professionally to relationally to financially and even spiritually. My heart is to invite the listener to an introspective journey and start conversation." So that's all about his album. I recommend checking out his album. It's really cool, but that really connected to today's topic. So, Myron, I remember I was talking to you about a time in my life, not too long ago, actually. I would say this was like a few months ago, where I was just feeling like super tired and lethargic and really lacking motivation. And it was very out of character for me. Like, it was not my normal. And I told you how I really felt like I was on a hamster wheel, and life just like always felt like it was spinning. Like I could never like catch up, and I never got the relief that I was looking for. And you literally said to me, this was a text message I searched in my phone, and you texted me and you said, "Have you committed to being planted in the season you are in and not just a potted plant?" Which like stuck out to me and is still like something I think about even now, like all these months later. So, Myron, can you explain to us what inspired you to say that? What did you mean by potted plant?
What did I mean? Well, first of all, I barely remember the conversation.
It's funny how like we say things to people and it sticks out to them, but then we completely forget it. And,
well, yeah.
It's like, oh, did I really say that? Yes, you did say that.
I got the memory of a goldfish at times, so yeah. Mm-hmm. So what did I mean when I said that? Well, I guess I suppose, like, going back to what you were saying is how you felt like you were on the hamster wheel and you have like a bunch of things that you want to get done and you feel like you're not making progress in the season that you're in. Mm-hmm. And I mean, most people tend to feel that way. That's not a very uncommon feeling, but I think we're so hyper focused on the destination that we think that this stage isn't part of, the overall journey. Like we're so focused on the destination that you forget that there's a journey to be had in life. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the feeling feels like I was making progress. Like I was doing things, right? But the relief never came. Like it was like no matter what I did, I still felt the same exact way. And so I feel, and the potted plant really stuck out to me versus, what did you say? Potted plant versus planted in the season that I'm in.
Is that what I said? Oh.
Yeah, it is what you said.
Okay.
Have you committed to being planted in the season you were in and not just a potted plant? I feel like a potted plant, it can be moved.
Well, yeah,
duh.
Ideally. Yeah.
And like for me, I think in that season, it was like I was waiting every day to be moved. Like I wanted to be moved out of that season. And I was just sitting there waiting for someone or something to move me. Yeah. Like, please pick me up, put me in a different location, you know? Yeah. And I think a lot of what I was working on and doing and all the like, things on my to-do list and whatever, like I was really hoping that those things would be able to, that would be the thing that would move the plant, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when you said that to me, it was almost like I felt annoyed a little bit even too, because I think there was a part of me that's like, I don't want to be planted in this season. Like I really want to move.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I think that conversation with a lot of other things, like I feel so much better than I did back then. So there definitely is a correlation here with like really accepting the season that you're in and like feeling better, at least for me.
Okay. Well, that's good then. Let's see. The mindset of being planted is because like you're viewing your life as, okay, I'm in a position and I'm not at the destination that I want to be at yet. And if I were to be planted, then that means somehow I would just be stuck here. But that also, I guess that means that you don't think that the goal can come to you, right? You know, or that the environment, like if I'm planted right in the ground at a certain spot and maybe it's not raining, in my mind thinking, oh well, it'll just never rain here.
Oh my gosh.
But we don't treat it like, okay, the weather can change, like the environment can change, you know. But we get stuck in the mindset of, oh, well,
I have to change.
I got to move to someplace else because this isn't fertile ground.
Oh, that's so deep. No, that's so real.
But yeah. People get trapped in that too often.
Wow. That's really good. That's really, really good. Okay, so why do so many of us struggle with always focusing on the destination instead of the process?
Ooh, we love the destination. Okay, so one of my favorite book series, well, you know, my favorite author is Brandon Sanderson. But one of my favorite book series is the Stormlight Archive. And one of the key sayings in that book is journey before destination. So we all like want to we all have individual things that we're like, all right, this is my goal. This is my dream. This is, you know, the thing I want to achieve in life. But you're so focused on that you miss the entire process, and we treat the process like it's only a thing to get to the end goal, but you can't really get to that end goal without, you know, a process. You think about like the most talented singers or most talented athletes in their field, those entertainers, the process it takes to get to the level, you can't skip over that and get to that. You know, I'll never forget, I think this is like maybe season 1 or season 2 of like American Idol. And there's this girl who
Kelly
auditioned.
Clarkson?
No. It wasn't even like a good singer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was like one of the like week 1 people who just auditioned and failed. But she was like, yo, just give me like the auto tune and the stuff to, you know, just give me that stuff and I'll be a great singer. And Randy was like, I'm sorry, you just don't got what it takes. If you don't got the discipline to like, and granted, like natural talent helps, but like even the discipline to, you know, work on your scales and all the different vocal training exercises and stuff. If you don't got the discipline to do that, you're never going to get to the destination. There's no skipping over those steps. You need those steps. And even if you manage to get to the destination, the process is the thing that sustains you in those places, because that destination for whatever you want in your life may be a lot harder than you think it is. Like if your destination is, you know, parenthood or, you know, whatever financial dream or things you may have, you're seeing the destination ahead, but you don't really know what it takes until you're in that thing. And you may realize, oh, because I skipped certain steps, I lack the strength or I lack the discipline to maintain it at the level, you know, you wanted to do it at.
So we overvalue destination and undervalue process?
I don't know. Well, we definitely undervalue process. I don't know if we overvalue destination. Maybe.
And why? Why do we do that? Because process is harder?
Well, we rarely see the process, especially, okay, you look at the modern day era that we're in, social media, like you're rarely seeing people's process.
No, you just see people's
you just see
highlight reel.
Oh, yeah, something as small as this podcast, you see us doing this podcast And you're like, oh, well, we just up here doing it, like without any thought, you don't see the preparation. You don't see me driving up to Baltimore. You don't see me setting up lights and the behind the scenes, the editing that it takes to put something, like this out. There's the work we have to do to figure out what questions and you don't see any of that. We don't put it out there. So
the arguing we do behind camera.
We don't put those things out there and everyone just sees the destination and think, oh, well, that was pretty easy. I could do that, And I mean, and that's one of the things, I don't know, maybe we need to have a social media that just focuses on process rather than destination, like where you're actually showing what it takes to, to get to those places that you say that you want to get to, but you've not seen the struggles that those people have to go through to get to those things.
I have seen it a little bit, especially for some people I follow on social media, like one girl in specific, like her dating process. She's showing at least parts of like the process of dating. So it's not just like, oh, I found my person and now we're together and it's perfect. Like, no, she's showing everything she's going through. And like all the dates she's going on, the ones that like don't work, she's showing that, she's talking about it. So I feel like there is a little movement towards this and like showing part of it, but even but not a ton. It's still like pretty destination focused.
Because because the process is so much longer than the destination, like typically. And well, I don't even know if it's like one of those things where the idea of the destination shifts as like the further you're going through the process, the idea of the destination stops being like this. I mean, just because naturally, it
the
moves,
marker.
It moves, and also it transforms because you have a further understand. Like for someone who's trying to lose weight, as you're going through that process, and you reach that goal of like, okay, this is the weight that I want to get to. You reach that. But even as you're getting there, who you are in becoming that weight changes so much that like you see yourself, all right, I'm going to make this. But like now there's other things besides, you're not just like, okay, well, I got to this weight and now I'm going to stop all the process that all the things, all the exercises, all the diet, the fasting, the supplements. You're not just about to be like, oh, I'm stopping all that because I got to where I got. Like it's going to transform your entire lifestyle. So it's not even about said destination of getting to weight. It's like my entire lifestyle. It's like now the destination is my lifestyle change, not just my weight.
And what's annoying? Things take such a long time. Like it's so frustrating and annoying. Like, it just takes forever to create a habit, to like change. Even me, like this whole, like me even asking you this question in the season that I was in, I think it all started, 2 years ago when I moved out of my ex's house and like started this whole journey of healing and like my whole life changing and being thrown back into being single and literally have to redo my finances all by just like all these different things of getting divorced. Yeah.
It's a huge transition.
I know. And I think since that moment when it all started, I have been on the hamster wheel. I think because I really just wanted to get out of it. I didn't want to be in that season really. I was like, okay, what do I need to do to get out of this? I always wanted to be married. I always wanted to have a family. So like all of that, like totally changing and kind of being like pulled away from me in a sense. Right.
Yeah.
And then being thrown back. So I feel like everything that I've been doing for the last 2 years until I had this conversation with you and a few other things, it was just like, okay, what do I need to do? What's the next thing? And that's why I think what you said was so deep and profound about the environment changing or the destination finding you. That's so profound because I think I'm constantly in this headspace of like, what do I need to do to get to the things that I want in life? That is valid because we can't just sit here and do nothing, know? So there's a part of this it's a good part about my personality, but I think the part of it that makes me feel this way, that makes me feel like I can't rest, like I can't be planted. That's the part that it's like the accepting piece. Like that's the part that I need to focus on and find balance between still making progress making steps in my life to get to the destination that I want, but also accepting what is, which can be a hard balance to understand and feel. I feel like I can't quite even articulate still what that balance even looks like, feels like.
Yeah. And that's 100% fine. Like, I think part of the problem is also feeling like you need to have the answers to, to the whole, the journey. Yeah.
When a lot of things become clear as you're going along.
Yeah.
Which is what's happening with me. So what are signs someone is stuck in a when I get there, then I'll be happy mindset? Well, I'll tell you right now, that feeling like the never ending, like hamster wheel, that was an indicator for me.
Yeah.
So what else?
The when I get there, then I'll be happy mindset.
Maybe always struggling to be present, like struggling to live and enjoy yourself in the present moment.
Yeah. Well, one of the biggest sign is if you can't find happiness in the journey. Mm-hmm. And not to say that like there can't be like things about the journey that you don't like. There'll definitely be things that you don't like while you're in the journey, but you should still be able to find some type of happiness in it. Because I don't think, and again, this is just purely opinion, like most of the people who are dependent upon finding their happiness at the destination rather than any other point during the journey usually get to the destination, realize, oh, there's no happiness to be found at all. Mm-hmm. You put your stock in building up the whole empire of whatever the destination is, and you find that it didn't really actually bring you the joy that you thought, or you just build it up to a point where it becomes idle in your whole life, and it's naturally not going to live up to the hype that you had for it.
I don't know if this is an indicator or a sign you're stuck in this mindset, but I think that we need to be okay with how, like, having a destination is okay, but being able and open to shifting and moving and course correcting as things that like change and adapt, throughout the journey. We have to be able to do that. Because like you said, like so many things, we don't have all the answers at the beginning. So many things become aware as you go along the journey of life. Also, what if there's something better out there for you than what you even thought about from the beginning? And if you're not willing to like budge or move, I think a lot of the times that is when you get there to the certain thing and you're like, oh my gosh, this isn't as great as I thought it would be, you know?
And a lot of people run into that in their careers, in relationships and in dating. Mm-hmm. Like you have a mindset of like, okay, this is the type of career I specifically want, or this type of relationship I want. And then when you're in that position and you're about to get that thing, you realize, oh, there were a lot of other things that came with that package that I didn't necessarily want to sign up with, but like it's just in there. It's in the deal. It's a whole package thing. So yeah, you do gotta be flexible. I mean, there'll naturally be things that you'll have hard lines on. We talked about boundaries, but you do have to be flexible because you don't know what you don't know. It's just the nature of the game. Well, what are some small practices that can help people stay present in the process instead of obsessing over the outcomes?
One thing that really helps for me is focusing on things you're grateful for. So I journal all the time, as you know. I'm a huge journaler. And one thing I do when I journal is literally think about the day. I usually journal in the mornings. So what I do is I'll think about the day before and I will write down all the things that I'm grateful for from the day before. And it could be like the littlest of things to the biggest of things. And that really helps me with staying present, staying grateful for the season that I'm in. Because once you do that, you really start seeing so many things that are happening every single day to be grateful for. And at least for me, I can be, I'm very growth focused. So sometimes I will see the things that I want to improve way quicker than I will the things that I'm like super grateful for. Right. So when you take that time and you take that space to start focusing on gratitude, at least for me, I start feeling a lot better.
Okay.
So that's one thing, a practice. I also think...
I have a side question.
Oh, go ahead. Side question. Side question.
No. Not that deep at all. I was actually going to ask, like, since I don't journal at all, how many like journals have you gone
so
through?
Many.
Yeah,
I'm going to show you them on my shelf. There's like a stack, like, I journal so much. But I told you, it's the way I get out of my head.
Yeah.
And so it's something for me that is like super important. I need it. I literally need it.
Okay. And it's better to handwrite it than like type it.
For me, yes, because it slows me down. Because when you're writing, it takes a lot longer than typing. It just slows my brain down. It really helps me focus on what I want to say. I also think we're on technology. At least I am. I'm on technology all the time. So I don't want to be on my phone. This is like an opportunity where I don't have to be on a phone or a computer. Right. I'm just writing.
Okay. All right. I like that.
Yeah. But I was going to say another thing. I read the Let Them book by Mel Robbins at the beginning of the year. That was like the first book I read of 2025. I was meant to read that book, and it really has set me up for the whole year. That book is so much about accepting people and also accepting circumstances and just accepting things for as they are.
Right.
And I noticed throughout this year, as different obstacles come up for me, a lot of the times it comes back to this piece of like, I need to accept something. There's something I'm not accepting. When I'm feeling like resistance, or if I'm feeling uncomfort, or if something's bothering me, a lot of the times I'm not accepting something. And so I think that is a practice, is to ask yourself, what am I not accepting in this season? Whether it's a circumstance, whether it's a person and something they're doing, you want it to change, you want someone to change, and you're just like not accepting things for what they are. So that's a small practice, is just letting people be, letting circumstances be that are out of our control, and kind of doing the work and the reflection to be able to articulate those things.
Yeah.
Because there are things that are within our control, right? But there are things that are totally not.
Yeah.
That we have to really, to let it go.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you have anything for what you think of staying present? People, what people can do to stay present instead of obsessing?
I like yours, gratitude. That's a definite thing. Yeah, I don't think as a society we take enough time to just be thankful for the things that we have in our lives. It's one of those things you think about with like your health. It's you don't think about like your health until like something starts acting up. Like you don't think about your knees until like, oh, you get out of bed and all of a sudden, we're in our 30s, so you start feeling your knees differently as soon as your 30s hit. But yeah, it's one of those things you don't think about your health. Maybe you don't think, well, you think about your finances, but it's one of those things that you don't even think about the fact that there are people in worse positions than you. You just think about, oh, well, I can't do the thing that I want to do, and I need to get to this spot. And you're not thinking that, oh, I could have easily been, these other people who wish they could be where I'm at. So yeah, I think gratitude is definitely one of the best ways to stay present and to stay mindful. Looking back, what journeys mattered more to you than the actual destinations?
Well, I have one very specific one. You know this story, but I was offered, this was like 2-3 years ago at this point. I was offered a job like a job that I really wanted. It was a promotion, and everything was going great. I interviewed, they offered it to me. And essentially, because of a bunch of different things and politics within the school system, I was blocked from moving into the position for a year, and I had to stay at my old position. Actually, my old position, should I just give details? Yeah. I was a kindergarten teacher. I was moving into my current role that I'm in now, spoiler alert to this end of the story, but which is a coordinator of a Judy Center. But I got blocked, so they moved me into third grade. I had to teach third grade for a whole year, and I was super upset about it. The good news about this story is my position was guaranteed at the end of the year. So I knew I was going to move into Judy Center coordinator, but I had to finish this year. But I was so upset at the beginning. I was like fighting so hard to see if there was a way that I could get around the way that they were blocking me. I was fighting. I was trying to every avenue that I could think of, because this is not what I wanted. I wanted to move into that position right away. Yeah. And so it wasn't able to happen. And so then I had to be in third grade, and I was pretty miserable for a long time, and throughout that year, though, there were like so many good things that happened. Like I had an amazing team, and I got to work with kids that I had taught them when they were in kindergarten. And then I had them again in third grade. So that was really special. And it's weird because now that I'm in the position, a year went by, I got to move into that position. I look back and I like kind of miss that year sometimes.
Really?
I never, ever thought that I would feel that way. There's so many things about that year that I'm like, oh, I miss it. And there's so many things about my current position, even though I love it, it's just things that I miss about that old season. And I also found out that there were so many things that because I was in that year, in that third grade position, I was like being protected from so many things. There were really different dynamics going on. And because I wasn't promoted to that position, I just was protected from it. I didn't have to deal with it. So that was one specific example I have of like the process. So that's one thing. Oh, another one. After I left my ex's house, I moved in with my friends, and which was like the best. I loved living with them. It was like,
shout out Brian and Selena.
Yeah, they're the best. I feel like they helped put me back together. And but then there reached a point where I was like, all right, I got to move out. It's time. And so I was like really set on moving out. Almost once again, I think I'm learning I have an issue with just accepting things. Like it wasn't happening fast enough.
You're Russian.
It was not happening fast enough for me. And I was really upset about that. Like super impatient. Just like, I was like, God, what do you want? What do you want from me? And so finally I found this amazing place, which we are sitting in right now. And I like love it so much, and it's perfect. And it's everything that I wanted and more. But then I moved in here, and it came with so many other things. Like the transition for me, because I am living alone for the first time. That transition was kind of rough. I'm not going to lie. And I did not expect that. And so now I live here on my own, and I love my place, and I'm learning to love living alone. I miss living with them though. I'm like, dang. So it's this constant, like, this constant theme of me missing old seasons. And while I was in that season, I was rushing. I wanted to get out of it. And then once I'm out of it, then I look back very fondly on it and be like, oh, I missed that. And so if I could tell current Maggie right now, I'd be like, girl, relax, calm down. Enjoy where you're at, because when you get to the next destination, 9 times out of 10, you might look back and be like, oh, I missed that. And like think very fondly on that season. So that's for me. Is there anything you want to share over there?
I don't know. Like the question just reminds me so much of childhood. I think like it's one of those things when you're a child is like, man, I can't wait to I grow up. I'm gonna do what I want. It's like you're not thinking about like the fact that you're not paying for no bills. You living rent free. If you need to go somewhere, your parents taking you. You don't gotta pay for a car or gas. Like you don't think about.
I don't even want to take naps as a kid. Now you get to adulthood and you're like, please, I want a nap.
My niece be putting down her son to take a nap. He just be fussing. I'm like, well, you don't know how good you got it right now. So I was talking to Gabby like even this week, and she was just saying, I was in the fridge like, what am I about to make? Like, I don't even know what I want to make for dinner. It's like you're at the point in your life. It's like you gotta think about what you gotta make for dinner, literally for the rest of your life. You don't have people just like
making it for you, serving you. What do you want to eat?
But yeah, you don't think about those things while you're in the journey. You're just thinking like, all right, I can't wait till I get there, and you can't even conceive that you would look back and be like, man, I really had it good then. Because you're just so focused on the negatives, and you're thinking like, okay, this season that I'm in is detracting from where I'm going. It's literally holding me back from what I'm trying to do, or where I'm trying to go. It's holding me back from the joy in my life when you don't even see the joy that it's actually providing you in those moments. But okay, so I don't know, personal journeys that I mattered more than the destination. Probably for me, music. I'm a guitarist, and I've been in several bands that never made it big. But
one band, kind of, a little. It's not big, but
I mean, not as far as I'm concerned. Like,
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, unless we're doing like, national tours, then yeah, I don't really consider that. But even still, I look back on those journeys and I really appreciate those journeys. I appreciate the friendships I made with those people. I appreciate the skills I learned. Just it's one of those things like music. I still have those albums. I can still go back and listen to those things and be like instantly transported to those times when we were, just goofing around in the basement or, goofing around at rehearsals and just acting a fool. And those were good times. Like this, even if they didn't, get to the height, we're not performing at the Grammys or the MTV Awards and all those things. Like that's fine. Like even as I get older, I think about like, man, I probably really didn't want to get to that level, because that level it's not what it is. I mean, and you hear so many stories nowadays about how hard it is in the music industry, and like, one, you're not making the kind of money that you think that these artists are making. They're not making that kind of money. The grueling tour schedules, like if you want to have a family, like a real dedicated family, and you're a musician, a touring musician, those two things don't really compute that well. And it's a lot of sacrifice to do that. But yeah, so in a lot of ways, I'm kind of glad,
destination change.
Destination. Yeah. And then that's another thing, is being flexible to understanding.
The flexible part, yeah.
And like the front man of my old band, now he's just doing producing, and he's very successful at that. But had he done, continued to be the front man of a band, he's got like 5 kids now. Like you can't, have a dedicated relationship with those kids, dedicated relationship with your wife, like carry them on tour. I mean, if you're big enough, you can, but one, that's a huge financial commitment, and then time commitment. You're not only are you, you're giving up time from your career trying to do the balance, but you're also, your kids' lives now become your life, because you're dragging them to everywhere. They don't get to have that, normal life that you want to have for your family. So yeah, it's, you don't know until you know. Exactly.
And I think that's why the current season that I'm in, I don't feel like I've always been moving in this way. I feel like I ask God for things, but I always am like, but only if I can handle it. Because there's just so many things we don't know. We can't predict about the outcome, about a destination. And I am so glad that I have God to do this with me, because he just knows all of those things that I can't, none of us can plan or predict.
Yeah.
And so having him and asking him and being like, all right, I trust you, whatever you have for me, you know what's best. And I keep going back to what you said too about the journey or the process is a lot of the time when those things are developed inside of us, so that when we get to said destination, we're good. Like we can handle it. We can be able to be there and be successful. We can sustain it. And so not to rush, like especially me and my tendencies, don't rush out of the journey part, because you don't want to get to destination and, everything flops or falls, or you fail, or you can't handle it because you didn't allow the process to take its full effect.
Yeah.
And I will say, even this current season that I feel like I'm in right now, which I don't know the outcome, I don't know the destination, I'm just out here living my single life and
streets.
And we'll see what happens. I mean, even this podcast, like we're doing this, we have no idea.
Yeah. We didn't really start this podcast thinking like, oh, we're about to become influencers and like, trying to get brand deals and all this stuff. Like we literally just were like,
yeah, we should do this.
Yeah, pretty much. That was the extent of the conversation.
Right. But I mean, like, I'm noticing how much I'm starting to enjoy. As soon as I flipped my switch and I accepted, I became a planted.
Yeah.
I became planted instead of in my little pot, just waiting. Please move me. Like I'm actually planted. I feel as though the journey I'm enjoying so much. And then also just like proud. I feel proud of myself. I feel proud of the way that I've grown. And I really feel like that proud feeling is developed in the journey because of the work that's happening. You don't just feel proud when you like get the thing. I feel like the proud piece comes from, and I know how you feel about the word proud. Myron doesn't like that word. But I feel like proud comes through the developing season.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
If someone listening feels behind in life, what encouragement would you offer them?
Well, I don't feel like there's any such thing as behind in regards to this. We're all on our own timeline.
Well, that's the thing. It's like we don't. Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, it's the illusion that we're like, as we are on our own timeline, but we see other people's timelines and we start comparing. It's the saying, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I will say that helps me a lot with this? Because actually, believe it or not, I don't think I'd struggle with this.
That's good.
I don't. Yeah. I think that's weird because I'm struggling with the other things, but I do not struggle with feeling behind. I do not struggle with the comparison thing because you really don't know what people are experiencing or what's going on behind closed doors. You know, they may, people may have all the things that you want, but you don't know how they're feeling. You don't know what it's like day in and day out. It might look perfect. And I think maybe I have that feeling because of what I went through, you know, like I had the things of what people are wanting. You know, I got married, and it was really challenging. And there were lots of things that were going on. And it was, you know, there's a lot of ways in which I was super unhappy. Yeah. And now I'm not in that season anymore. And I feel amazing. You know, I feel really great. And so I can kind of see just that it goes back to that whole thing of don't rush it. Don't rush your process. Don't rush your timeline because you want to be able to enjoy it when it comes. And sometimes when we rush or we get these feelings of I'm behind. And that's probably it. Oh, everything connects. It's a full circle moment. That's the hamster wheel. Yeah. That's why the hamster's running. Like, because it's like this behind feeling like I got to catch up.
Well, like what is it that you're trying to catch up to? Like,
this perceived timeline that's not real. We think is real, but it's not. Yeah. I don't know.
Who's dictating where are we supposed to be at what specific time? Like I
don't know who is, because the more people you meet, the more like people do things at so many different times. So I don't know why we have this notion of this needs to happen then.
I think one of the issues in at least in this current generation is that we have so many people online professing to be experts and telling you like, this is what you need to be doing this by this. These are the things that you need to be doing in your life. If you want to get these goals, this is what you got to do. And if it doesn't work out the way that they said it would, or any of those things, then it's like, oh man, I'm so behind. I should have this by this. I should have done that by then. But like all that's, you know, that's not real.
Do you think something's like ingrained in us when we're young? Because this behind feeling, I often feel this way at work. I often am struggling with the constant feeling of I'm behind on my tasks.
At work?
At work. So but I will say I'm very much an overachiever. I'm always like, I'm definitely someone who has always worked super hard my whole life. But there's this feeling that I struggle with, and I have to really fight it and put different things in place or remind myself of different things. Because if I don't, I do feel like that, oh my gosh, I'm behind feeling. Yeah. So I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if something's been ingrained early on. Like, is this something that's been programmed into us in order to be successful? I don't know.
I mean, I wonder if it's one of those things where it's because you got something? Go ahead.
Have you seen like when, I don't know, it's like an animal maybe where they dangle a carrot or something and like the animal has to like move towards the carrot and then like they keep moving it and they like have to maybe it's something like that where it's the thing like this perceived carrot or goal, right? And it's just dangling and we're working towards that. But it's like if you just keep being on the hamster wheel if like you're never able to get to the carrot, enjoy the carrot. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it goes back to this balance between the goal is okay, the destination is okay because it does guide us and it motivates us and it guides our path. But then it's that balance between also not being able to enjoy yourself as you're moving and working towards said goal.
Yeah.
Because or else you're going to feel like, oh, I can never get to the carrot. And that's a terrible feeling. Then you
Yeah.
want to give up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Going back to the balance or being flexible with what the destination is, that's a hard, I think that's hard for people to deal with also. Maybe not everybody, but there are certain people who feel like if I have to adjust what the destination is at all, then that feels like a compromise or just a straight up loss. Not even a compromise, but like they feel like they've cheated themselves because they're hyper focused or hyper fixated on what this specific destination, and it has to look specifically like this. And if it's anything short of that, then I don't know, anything less than that, is not worthy of them or.
And I don't think people like being wrong either.
Oh yeah, well that's a big problem in modern day society.
Right. If I admit that like what I thought was it, then I'd have to admit that I was wrong.
Yeah.
And that's hard for people to do. Yeah. But we're cheating. That's cheating ourselves though, because then you're cheating yourself out of the opportunity or option to finding something even better than what you thought or better for you. Yeah.
Also, I wonder too, specifically for like millennials, a lot of millennials are struggling out here because
are
like,
we?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you listen to like the news or whatever, well, maybe it's not millennials, maybe it's Gen Z, but just speak the difference between like the baby boomer generation and Gen Z and some millennials, like where they were based off of like how their age is, how the cost of like homes and stuff for baby boomers versus like Gen Z is like they're pushing back things. Like my father had at my age now, my father had like 2 kids and I was, on the way. So, I got, got no kids, not married. And it's one of those things like you can, if you're comparing the timelines again, that's one of those things that in a lot of people's minds, if you're like, yo, I should have been doing this by then. And like, is it too late for me to even try doing the thing? And like, that's another thing that contributes to that, at least with a lot of Gen Z and some millennials. So
what would you tell someone that feels behind in life? What encouragement?
I don't know if I'm the best encourager. I would, well, going back to the other thing that you were talking about, I would tell them to, I guess that's hard to tell someone to be grateful for for the time that they're in. Especially if they're like struggling, they're like, I don't want to be here at all. Yeah. You got to find a way to help people see their actual circumstance, not even just see like, oh, it could be worse, because that doesn't always hit as well as you'd like it to. But how do you encourage someone when they feel like they're in that situation? You got to give them a different perspective, I think. Yeah. I think that's probably really the only thing, because like even when I said to you about the potted plant thing, that was just a different perspective from what you were currently focused on. And you have to show people that there's things besides the hamster wheel that you're on. And it's very easy as that wheel spins faster and faster. That's all you see and all you focus on. And we have the power to get off the wheel. Yeah. Like that's another thing. You're not stuck. You don't have to stay here on this wheel and feel this way. You have another journey. Like you just said, there's other things that you can be on. You don't have to be on the hamster wheel. Okay. This is a tangent, but I feel like it might be necessary. Okay. One of the things, and let me know if I'm going out of bounds, but cut this whole thing. But one of the things particularly when women are in relationships and that relationship isn't developing or becoming unhealthy, they'll stay in it because they feel like they've invested so much time that the idea of starting over is like, I can't get off this hamster wheel. I've been on it too long. I've put too much time and I've invested. This was supposed to be the destination and it's looking like it's not, but I'm going to just make it the destination. What are your thoughts? I mean, I agree. I think that's probably true. I often say like, I understand why women stay in
relationships that they're not happy in because it's so hard to get yourself like out of it. I know this from firsthand experience. You know, it's so hard to start over. And I'm lucky because I started over, only a 4-year, 5-year marriage, no kids. Like that's easy. Imagine like building a whole life with someone, you know, and it wasn't even easy what I went through.
But so, it's even like, I mean, you were married for years, like, but there's even people who haven't even gotten the engagement. They've just been dating for like maybe 3 or 4 years. And then like.
And that goes back to people don't want to admit they're wrong too.
Yeah.
That maybe I was wrong.
Yeah.
Or even, it might not even be that you were wrong. Like maybe it's just that something else is now calling for you in this season.
Or, I mean, it's one of those things like we identify what we believe is the destination and we're so focused on it that we don't even conceive that that spot could have still just been part of the journey and that wasn't really the destination.
Yeah,
but we're part. Like, again, especially if you want to be that potted plant and you're just so focused on being moved, you'll hop out of wherever you're supposed to be into a spot that you're like, okay, I'm making this the destination. Mm-hmm. And you were supposed to keep moving and, you know, things have fallen apart and you're wondering why.
Mm-hmm. Deep.
Well, yeah, once again, no answers, no perfection, just two sides of the same couch. One deep conversation at a time.
I hope y'all got something out of this. This was an interesting one. It's a toughie.
Once again, thank you, Shun, for being the inspiration for this episode. Go check out his album, check out his social media, and all that stuff. We'll put links so y'all can definitely check him out. But yeah, this was a good one. Mm-hmm. And we'll catch y'all on the next one.
See ya.
Peace.